Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Corner. It's been a while for this episode. I actually recorded one a couple weeks ago and I really didn't like it. But Bob was perfect, lighting was perfect, my style was perfect, and I really liked everything except the speech. It took me a while to give up that thing. And then a lot of things happened at the same time. I was just super swamped. Anyway, and then I want to do a topic about a lot of things, but then still haven't figured out what. So I'm going to just go random. So let's talk about mistakes. The other day I was making green onion oil. If you haven't heard of it, you should Google it. If you want to try it, definitely try it. It's worth it. It's very, very delicious. So I found this recipe on social media, and then they said you can actually use vegetable oil plus fresh green onion chopped up and put them together and put in the microwave for 5 to 8 minutes. So I first used a regular bowl. So it was not ceramic. I don't know, but you know what I mean. So I first used a blue bowl to do that, and I heard popping sound, and then I was a little bit unsure about it. So I paused the microwave and took the bowl out, and I saw some cracks there. I said, crap. Okay. So my heart sank right away. I don't know if this happened to you. When I was little, every time I broke something, I felt that was the end of the world. Because first, I've been saying this many times, I'm not from a rich family and everything live on very little budget. And when I broke things, of course, I had to not pay for it, but you know what I mean. So you had to be responsible for your mistakes. But sometimes you felt like that was a huge responsibility for that age, a little bit over what you can take, right? So that's how I felt. So since then, I always been perfectionist and I want everything to be perfect and I can't afford mistakes. Sorry, Baba is snoring. I can't afford mistakes and I'm not comfortable making mistakes. And I don't know how many of you have the same feeling. You're just very uncomfortable making mistakes, especially in front of other people. Which, again, as a teacher saying here, is a big, big obstacle for you to learn the language. You should not be afraid of making mistakes when you speak because the only way to improve your speaking is to speak. Anyway, I'm a little bit sidetracked. So back to our topic about making mistakes. Okay, so then I switched to a plastic bowl, which is still microwave safe. I dumped everything to the plastic bowl and I put it in the microwave and I was thinking, okay, this time it's not going to happen. Everything will be safe. We'll all get a delicious green onion oil. Put it in. It wouldn't turn the color. Like the onions are supposed to turn like a little bit dark, and when you use your spoon or fork to scratch it, it should have the crispy sound. So I didn't have that yet. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a little bit longer to cook it. And then again, there are weird sounds in the microwave. So I had to stop and then took the bowl out. The plastic started to bubble. It was quite terrified, I would say that, but also it's plastic. And then when I actually lean over to have a look, I said, okay, this is not a good sign. Then I really, really felt frustrated and also scared and also sad. I felt frustrated because I didn't make it happen. I feel terrified, scared because I feel like I did something really wrong. I sacrificed 2 bowls. And I feel sad because I was such a loser. I couldn't even manage this when everybody was able to make it in a microwave. Many things together, I start to think, okay, so what did I want to do at that moment? I really want to smash the bowl. I felt like I need to dump all my mistakes somewhere and bury them deep and never look at them. So just pretend nothing happens. You know it's not going to happen, right? When you make a mistake, it's a mistake. It's there. So the painful but effective way is to look at it and then learn from it. But I can't. Then I have this idea. I really have this idea. I just wonder if you purposely break the bowl, break a glass, break a cup or mug, how would you feel? Would you feel comfortable about it? I mean, purposely, okay? Would you feel comfortable doing that? Or if you make any mistakes, small mistakes, big mistakes, you always feel frustrated. You always feel angry at yourself. I think the best way to get used to that feeling is break something, is make mistake, any kind of mistake. So I was wondering, can you make some small stupid mistakes? So for example, if you're practicing your English, can you go out and talk to a stranger about anything you want to talk about and then just leave it like that? Would you feel comfortable? Or today you can write an email, and when you write an email, check basic grammar and then let go of it. Would you do that? Because sometimes when I write email, I have to triple check and I still feel uncomfortable sending it. So can you do that? So I think if you are making mistakes and if you are aware of your mistakes, and can you allow yourself for a moment to be mad, to be sad, to be frustrated, and allow yourself a few minutes to think, I am okay. I can be mad, I can be frustrated, I can hate this thing, and I can feel embarrassed, but I'm still me. And I'm not a bad person, and I'm not doing something really bad, something really terrible, something illegal. I'm just being a human being. I find thinking about that, even have the mindset right on the tip of my tongue to talk to you, I feel happy. I feel I'm allowed. You know, sometimes when we talk about emotions, and I said this many times, negative emotions are not allowed, right? Especially when you're young. Because you need to be that good kid who doesn't have negative emotions that affect other people, aka your parents. You want to be the good kid who's always happy, who's always successful, who is always able to manage a lot of things, even though you're just a little kid. We were well trained, we're hardwired to that skill to manage our emotions. Thanks, Bob. We have been so well trained to deal with our negative emotions in a very unhealthy way, to the point when we grow up now, we think about or we encounter negative emotions. We really don't know what to do when we don't have solutions to them, and we want to run away from them. We want to run away from them. We think life is hopeless. We think it's really not fair when we have to deal with the things that we can't manage, or we can't get what we want, because we're not allowed to have negative emotions. I think leaving a space for that part is very important, to know yourself that you're just a regular you're a very normal human being. And human beings have different kinds of emotions. When you're sad, how do you deal with the sadness? You don't deal with that. You let it be. It's like when you're happy. How do you deal with the happiness? Nobody would ever ask you how to deal with happiness, right, Bob? Yeah, no, you're just being happy. But when you're sad and people ask you, oh, you're gonna have to find solutions to it. But why? Why can't I not be sad? Right, Bob? So that is something I've been thinking. So if I'm sad, I want to be sad, I will watch a sad movie, I will read a sad story, and then let myself cry. And I do feel better after I cry. And then, but of course, people around you, people who love you, will be very worried. Are you okay? Why are you crying? I said, well, I just feel like a cry there. And when you feel mad, when you feel angry because your work, your job sucks, or your coworkers are assholes, or your clients or students are being unreasonable, you're allowed to be mad. You might not be able to mad at them right there in front of their face, but you can be mad in different ways. So my way to deal with the mad is I am mad. I am aware of my anger. I just don't deal with it. I sometimes write it down, and I will really literally word by word saying how mad I am, and then all kinds of swearing words there, because nobody's going to read my journal, right? So I really swear in my journal, in English, in Chinese, any kind of languages I can use to help myself get the anger out. So that moment, I just need to get the anger out. And sometimes I read, sometimes I don't read what I wrote. I just let it be. I think I need a venue to take that out, to have it, so I don't have to have it inside of myself. Because for myself, I only have a small heart, I have small brain. There's so much I can contain inside of me, and if it's full, and then I'm gonna explode. So my way to let myself be mad, be angry, is to write it out somewhere and still be mad. And I really find it very useful. I think you just have to tell yourself you're mad at the moment. When you feel frustrated, this is what I do when I feel frustrated. Again, I acknowledge my frustration. I realize this moment, I don't like it, and it really irritates me in many ways. And I sometimes can feel myself on the edge, and my patience is wearing thin, and I'm about to explode. And at that moment, I want to throw my anger out at somebody, which is really not good. My parents used to do that, and I don't want to be like that. And I would catch myself, and I start to think very quickly. Again, it's like any skills. You have to practice you have to practice to use this smoothly. So what I did was in the beginning, it was very slow. So I will acknowledge my frustration and say, hey, hold on there. And you have frustration. Let's not deal with it right now. But I am fully aware of that emotion. So just put it in a corner. I will come back and revisit. Then I will go on and do my things, maybe looking after the kid, and maybe doing my homework or lesson planning. But then when I have my own time, and then I can come back, I'm not dumping my emotion. Frustration is also my friend. I'm not dumping you. I come back, I grab you, I say, here is my frustration. Then I start to ask myself, why? Why do you feel frustrated? And then I list all kinds of things that have caused this result. So for example, my frustration could be when I teach, I don't have a good lesson today, nobody understands me, or today not many students come to class, or some students are very aggressive and not polite today. So that's one of the frustration. Can be colleagues that everybody is very active in socializing, and I'm very antisocial and I can't do anything, and I feel mad about myself, and that causes frustration. And also I am reluctant to change the situation, but also want the result of being friends with everybody, and I can't get both, and I feel frustrated. So I will list every single detail, even if it's something, let's say I go to bathroom and I pick the toilet and then the toilet is broken. I would think, why me? Why me? But I would even write that down. Say, well, the toilet today was totally clogged and it didn't work. I didn't even realize that, and it got stuck there. So I would say that to myself too. And I start to go through every single thing and ask myself why this little thing triggered next thing. So for example, the toilet thing triggered my frustration is not because of toilet, it's because of the thing before toilet. My student asked me a stupid question and he was mad at me. So I was mad at that situation because I wasn't able to manage the situation smoothly, and that triggered my frustration towards the toilet. And when I saw the toilet, that was the last. And back to my student. Why couldn't I deal with my student effectively today? Because the day before, I didn't have a good night. I was extremely exhausted and my tailbone hurts. I haven't been able to really rest for a while. I was sleep deprived. And when you are sleep deprived, you look at everybody is evil and a stupid asshole. So that's the case. So you are going backwards to find the source of your frustration, to find the source of your reaction to each situation, and how everything adds up to the point you are just frustrated. I'm not saying it always works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But what I'm trying to say is you have to acknowledge every single emotion, good emotions, bad emotions, why they're here, and you have to be friends with them. But all in all, being happy, being frustrated, being mad, or anything is your ability to make mistakes. are you allow yourself to make mistakes? That is the important part. So since the day I made the green onion oil, I start to let myself make small mistakes. I start to let myself just go as it flows. Sometimes I need to be very careful because that's what is required by the job, but sometimes it's just my personal choice. But then if it's my personal choice, I want to let it go and I give myself a little break and then to say, you know what, if there's a mistake, I want to say what's the consequence of making the mistake. And I just want to get myself used to the uncomfortableness. And that's how I think about this topic. I think everybody should try making small mistakes, not a big one, making small mistakes, right? Even though when you speak something stupid in English to somebody, you're like, crap, why did I say that? You still can survive and still not think about it, overthink about it. That would be great. Try it once, and then give yourself 3 days a challenge, right? And then do that 3 days in a row. How do you feel? And you know, the funny thing is, I learned from my little kid. The more I play with him, the more I learn from him. I think kids are wonderful creatures. They make mistakes, they're fearless, but they also look up to you for feedback. And when they make mistakes, they are not afraid because they want to, because they're trying things out. But they also want answers from you so they can learn better. We are lack of the ability to make mistakes and look for feedback because mistakes are painful and feedbacks hurt. We don't want it, right? So we're refusing a chance to learn our lesson. From him, the one day he saw me wear a blue shirt and he said, so I teach him as a blue shirt. He cannot pronounce sound, and he cannot pronounce sound. So he said, bullshit. We were laughing, he was laughing, and then we said, good job, good try. And then we do that one more time. And I know it's very hard for us to make mistakes because there are no parents or no people like parents around you to say, good job, and try again. They say, oh my God, you're so funny. You're so stupid. You make that mistake. And that makes everything so difficult. But most of you, I assume, most of you are adult out there, and then be tough. Allow yourself to say, yeah, I am stupid. I'm making mistakes. But you know what? If I make twice, that's fine. I will learn my lesson. So I'm hoping on the third time, I will be better. So give yourself that pep talk. And I think we'll all be fine. If when we are comfortable with our mistakes, we are strong. I think that's what the word. When we are comfortable making mistakes, I think it will be very strong to a lot of things, especially negative things. So that's pretty much everything about this episode. Hope you like it and stay tuned for the next one. Peace out.